Pahalgam, the name itself brings to mind breathtaking beauty, a peaceful haven nestled in the Kashmir Valley. For decades, it's drawn tourists to its lush meadows and serene landscapes. But on April 22, 2025, this paradise was shattered. The Baisaran Valley, often called Mini Switzerland, became the stage for a brutal act of terror, a slaughterhouse where innocent lives were systematically extinguished. The world watched in horror as a picturesque tourist destination transformed into a symbol of cold-blooded violence. This wasn't just an attack, it was a massacre, the deadliest civilian killing in India since the 2008 Mumbai attacks. The immediate questions were deafening. How could this happen? And who was responsible? But beyond the initial shock, a more profound, more disturbing question began to surface. Who truly pulled the strings, and for what deadly purpose? This is an investigation into the shadowy figures behind the Pahalgam Attack and their lethal motives. How could a peaceful tourist haven, a place of solace and beauty, become the site of the deadliest civilian massacre India has witnessed since Mumbai in 2008? On April 22, 2025, the answer to that horrifying question was written in blood. Gunmen stormed the Baisaran meadows of Pahalgam, Kashmir, and in a chilling display of calculated cruelty, began executing tourists. The idyllic calm was ripped apart by the sounds of M4 carbines and AK-47s, and the illusion of safety in one of India's most scenic retreats was irrevocably broken. The day paradise bled. What happened? It was a pleasant afternoon in the Baisaran Valley, a meadow you can mostly only reach by foot or horseback, surrounded by dense pine forests. Tourists, many of them newlyweds, were enjoying the serene beauty. Suddenly, 5 armed militants, dressed in military-style uniforms, emerged. Panic erupted. The attackers systematically singled out tourists, mainly Hindus, but also a Christian tourist. In a horrific echo of past brutalities, victims were reportedly asked to recite Islamic verses. Those who failed or were identified as non-Muslim were shot at point-blank range. The men often executed right in front of their wives. 26 civilians lost their lives that day. The horror was inadvertently captured on video by a tourist ziplining during the attack. That footage later circulated widely, amplifying the trauma and shock across the nation and the world. The pristine meadows were soaked in blood, a stark testament to the savagery that had unfolded. This attack wasn't just random violence. It was targeted, it was brutal, and it was designed to send a shockwave. Security forces, including the Army, CRPF, and Jammu Kashmir Police, launched a massive combing operation, but the assailants had vanished back into the dense forests, leaving behind a trail of devastation and so many unanswered questions. The victims, lives stolen, voices silenced. The victims of the Pahalgam attack weren't soldiers. They were civilians, families, individuals looking for joy and peace in the valley's famous beauty. Many were Hindu tourists from various parts of India. Among the dead were also a Christian tourist and, tragically, a local Muslim pony operator, Zaid Adil Hussain Shah. He was reportedly killed trying to protect the tourists he was guiding. His bravery stands as a poignant counter-narrative to the hate that fueled the attackers. Survivors recounted harrowing tales trying to remove religious symbols, whispering Islamic phrases in a desperate hope they might be spared. For many, these efforts were useless. Families watched their loved ones murdered before their very eyes. The attack didn't just end lives, it shattered families, orphaned children, and widowed spouses. The trauma rippled outwards from the blood-stained meadows of Baisaran, leading to mass funerals and widespread public grief across India, a nation grappling with the sheer barbarity of the assault. The question, why them, hung heavy in the air, as the targeted nature of the killings pointed to a chillingly specific and hateful agenda. The claim and the confusion. Who were the attackers? In the immediate aftermath, as authorities launched a manhunt and the nation reeled, a claim of responsibility surfaced. The Resistance Front, TRF, a relatively new militant group active in Kashmir since 2019, stated on Telegram that It was behind the massacre. Their supposed reason? Opposition to non-local settlement in Kashmir, especially after the 2019 abrogation of Article 370, which had given special status to Jammu and Kashmir. The TRF statement chillingly declared, "These non-locals arrive posing as tourists, obtain domiciles, and then begin to act as if they own the land. Consequently, violence will be directed toward those attempting to settle illegally." This claim, however, quickly got complicated. Just days later, the TRF retracted its statement, denying any involvement in the Pahalgam attack. The group alleged a coordinated cyber intrusion, blaming Indian intelligence agencies for a false flag operation meant to tarnish the Kashmiri resistance movement. This denial, whether it was genuine or a strategic retreat in the face of widespread condemnation, even from within Kashmir, really muddied the waters. Who was telling the truth? Was the initial claim an opportunistic boast? Or was the denial a desperate attempt to distance the group from an act that had drawn universal revulsion? The conflicting messages created a fog of uncertainty, making the hunt for the true orchestrators even more complex. Unraveling the mystery, tracing the connections despite vehement denials from TRF, investigators and analysts have uncovered significant ties between the group and well-established militant organizations. Many believe that TRF is not just an offshoot, but possibly a front for Lashkar-e-Taiba, LT, the infamous Pakistan-based Islamist terrorist group responsible for the devastating 2008 Mumbai siege, among other attacks. In India, India has officially labeled TRF as a terrorist organization, asserting that it was formed by former LT and Hizbul Mujahideen members and is actively involved in recruitment and weapon smuggling from Pakistan. Intelligence reports have linked Sheikh Sajjad Gul, the leader of TRF, as a key orchestrator behind the recent Pahalgam attack. Gul is said to maintain close ties with Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence, ISI, and has a history of orchestrating attacks in Kashmir. This points to a higher level of strategic planning and coordination beyond local operatives. Additionally, the use of high-grade weapons, such as M4 carbines and AK-47s, indicates a well-equipped and trained militant group. The evidence points towards a pattern of proxy warfare, where groups like TRF carry out operations on behalf of larger, often state-sponsored entities, digging deeper, delving into motivations and chaos. Understanding the individuals behind the attacks is crucial in comprehending their motivations. The initial claims by TRF linked the violence to concerns over demographic changes and opposition to policies allowing non-Kashmiris to settle in the region post the revocation of Article 370 in 2019. This move aimed to integrate Jammu and Kashmir more closely with India, but has faced backlash from local groups, fearing a shift in demographics and cultural identity. The TRF has a history of targeting Kashmiri bandits and non-locals as part of this perceived demographic shift. Aside from these stated motives, there are deeper strategic goals at play. Targeting tourists, particularly in a well-known location like Pahalgam, serves several purposes for terrorist groups. It disrupts the sense of security that the Indian government has been trying to cultivate in Kashmir, especially as tourism has been on the rise. It also attracts international media attention, ensuring that the Kashmir conflict remains in the global spotlight. Such attacks may also be aimed at provoking a harsh response from the state, alienating the local population, and creating fertile ground for recruitment. The brutal targeting of Hindu tourists and the method of execution based on religious identity underline a communal and extremist Islamist agenda driving the attackers, seeking to deepen religious divides. The intricate web of connections and motives behind these attacks sheds light on the complexity of the situation and the need for a thorough investigation to unmask the true masterminds behind the violence in the region. The Pahalgam attack wasn't solely about taking lives. It was a deliberate attempt to spread fear and disrupt the region. The incident has sparked serious concerns about security and intelligence failures, in the heavily militarized region that is thought to be under strict Indian control. Critics are questioning how 5 heavily armed militants were able to carry out such a bold massacre in a known tourist spot like Baisaran Valley and escape without immediate capture. Reports suggest that there may have been an underestimation of security risks, potentially influenced by a government narrative of increasing peace and normalcy in the region. Some are pointing to possible intelligence gaps, with agencies picking up chatter about a heightened threat a month before the attack. This has drawn parallels to previous incidents, like the 2019 Pahalgam Attack, where security lapses were also closely examined. The aftermath of the attack has extended well beyond the Kashmir Valley, causing significant geopolitical repercussions. India has accused Pakistan of supporting cross-border terrorism, leading to a severe diplomatic fallout. Both countries have taken retaliatory measures, leading to an escalation of tensions and even military conflict. The international community has condemned the attack and called for de-escalation between the 2 nuclear-armed nations. The attack has once again brought India and Pakistan to a dangerous precipice, shedding light on the volatile nature of the Kashmir dispute and the ever-present risk of a wider conflict. It serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing threat in the region and the urgent need for effective security measures and intelligence cooperation. The quest for truth and accountability in events like the Pahalgam Attack is crucial. If you value in-depth investigations and understanding the complex forces shaping our world, I urge you to subscribe to this channel for more insightful reports. Share this video to help raise awareness about the harsh realities of terrorism and its devastating human cost. Your engagement is vital in keeping these important conversations alive. The lingering shadow, Kashmir's unending turmoil. The recent Pahalgam massacre is just another tragic episode in the long and bloody history of the Kashmir conflict. Since the partition of British India in 1947, the region has been a constant hotspot between India and Pakistan. The competing territorial claims have sparked decades of insurgency, communal violence, and immense human suffering. The attack has reignited discussions on the safety of minorities in the valley, the effectiveness of counter-terrorism strategies in such a complex landscape, and the deep human cost of an unresolved political dispute. India's decision in 2019 to revoke Article 370 and split the state into union territories aimed to usher in a new era of development and peace by fully integrating the region. While there was initially a period of calm and increased tourism, the Pahalgam attack has shown that militant groups still possess the capacity and determination to inflict horrific violence. It highlights the fragility of peace and the deep-rooted grievances that continue to fuel the conflict. The cycle of violence, retaliation, and geopolitical maneuvering casts a long shadow over the daily lives of ordinary Kashmiris, who simply yearn for lasting peace and security. The question lingers whether a narrative of normalcy can truly take hold while the underlying currents of militancy and discord persist. The Pahalgam attack serves as a brutal reminder of the horrors of terrorism and the intricate web of actors and motives driving such violence. Although the resistance front initially claimed responsibility, evidence and analysis strongly point to established militant networks, particularly Lashkar-e-Taiba, with alleged support from across the border. The motives behind the attack appear to be a mix of opposing demographic changes, disrupting peace narratives, inciting communal hatred, and keeping the Kashmir issue a volatile point of contention. Please consider subscribing to this channel for more reports on similar crucial events. Your support is vital in bringing these important discussions to light.